About first.
I do. Mr. Harrison, I've got to ask you about this all-time great FanDuel commercial that you are starring in right now. I've seen it 50 times, and I can't wait to watch it for a 51st time. But I have to know, in making this commercial, did you actually tackle this poor man in the commercial?
So the man in the commercial, I didn't actually tackle him. I tackled his stunt double. So
tackled his son.
That guy right there, that's a real tackle.
Oh, stunt
that's
double.
me.
I thought you said son. I'm sorry.
But
yeah,
he has on football pads underneath. So the stunt guy was actually way skinnier than the actual he was. So he was able to put on football pads underneath so that when I hit him, it didn't really hurt. And then you can see how I land. I make sure I put my hands out so I don't land on top of him. You know how it goes, Shannon. Normally you move your hands, grind into him.
You ain't put the shoulder to it.
Doorway, so they shrink the doorway like 6 inches. So when I'm coming through it, it looked like I'm filling it up a regular doorway, but they shrunk it a little bit. So it looked a lot more than what it actually it was. But
so
it was a good time.
were you moving at full speed when you first make contact?
So about 3/4, because you got to make it look real.
Yeah.
So I actually have to hit him, lift him, and part of that is him jumping too with it as you hit him, and flailing out and all that. So it looks good. He's a stunt guy. He knows how to take a hit. So, but yeah, I actually had to hit him, and everything you see on there is me.
Good for you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So James, let's get back to the topic at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Is Brady proving now that he was far more valuable in New England than Belichick was?
Currently, right now, this year, yes. I'll go with it just like I went with it before. When you go over the long haul of it, Brady can only play so many years. He can coach, and he's been seen to be able to coach at a high level for a long time. A coach only has to go out there and make sure his X's and O's are correct and be able to scheme and plan against other offenses, defenses. And do it well and get the players in place that are able to execute the plan that he's putting out there. Right now, Brady is, he's way more valuable than what Belichick could have ever been for this year. In the long haul of it, it's going to be, I believe, Belichick that's going to be more valuable.
Really? Okay.
This is why I disagree, James, because I believe that Coach Belichick doesn't have the same team players. If you look at what Brady left New England, no receivers, no tight ends, and then he goes and he's with the most talented skill position players of his whole 21-year career. Gronk, AB, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It's like, I give you a similar situation. You played for the great Dick LeBeau. Dick LeBeau coached at Cincinnati. He coached at Tennessee. He never had the success that he had at those places that he had in Pittsburgh. Why not? Because he didn't have a James Harrison. He didn't have a Troy Polamalu. He didn't have a Woodley. He didn't have a Ryan Clark. He didn't have what he had there. So in order for you to say it's got to be comparable, you got to give me the same level of players, one place, and then if I don't succeed, says, okay, my system isn't any good. But I don't believe Coach Belichick, all the opt-outs he had, from Hightower to Chung, he lost Kyle Van Noy. He lost Roberts. He traded Harmon. Gilmore has been in and out of the lineup. So for me, I don't believe he's proven it because Coach Belichick doesn't have near the talent that Tom joined in Tampa.
Yeah,
I understand that, but if you just go back to the position itself, look at the production, that he got out of his quarterback or quarterbacks in New England and what, Thomas did over there in New England. I understand he has a different, supporting squad, but I mean, come on now, like you can get a quarterback to be able to do a little bit better than what you've seen in New England this year.
But you heard what James said. He's saying long-term, Belichick will prove to be more valuable. It's just this year he's saying Brady's got him for a year.
But Skip, we saw 2008 when Matt Castle came in and had the same level of talent. Coach Belichick had the same level of talent. He didn't make the playoffs, but he went 11-5. There's a possibility that 11-5 team can miss the playoffs this year. So it's abnormal that it happens. I just think the thing is that Tom was smart enough to see the writing on the wall. Like, man, I can't win no championship. I can win some games. And Skip, he went to the playoffs last year. But he's like, I can't win no championship with this. How am I going to win a championship? I got no Gronk. I got no receiver that doesn't pose a threat to anybody, and you want me? Nah, I can't do it anymore, Coach.
Okay, I'm going to remind you.
So you believe in the short and long haul that he made that Brady is the right choice.
I just knew Coach Belichick thinks that there's a shelf life, and I think it was Coach Wall, Skip, that says once a guy, Brady has defied time, because normally when a guy hit 30, he's about to slow down. But these quarterbacks now, they're playing well into their 30s. And a lot of them are going to approach their 40s. But Coach Belichick had it in his mind that he wanted to go in a different direction without Tom Brady. That's what this was. This was about credit. And he got tired of Tom Brady getting the credit. Tom's like, okay, I was sharing it with you, but okay, you want me out? I go, and I'm going to go right down here.
I don't think it was a credit thing. I think it came down to him seeing, that, Tom is getting older. To keep his legacy going, he needs to try and switch it up and get somebody in there, or had the ability to get somebody in there that can, he can coach into being, another quarterback that can lead him to a Super Bowl. And like you said, he didn't have the weapons that he needed. So I think a big part of that was the reason why Tom, he ended up leaving and going to Tampa, because he's like, you know what, I'm going to sit here. I've been sitting here for the last couple of years asking for certain weapons, and I'm not getting them. What's going to change now? And I understand that.
Okay, I'm going to remind both of you. Tom Brady says he's going to play until he's 45, and I'm not going to bet against him. Shannon has been trying to retire him for each of the last 4 years. And now it looks like for sure he's going to come back next year.
Yeah.
And I think he's only getting started in what I call Tampa Bay. And I believe that Bill Belichick is in trouble in New England because he does not have that position. He does not have a quarterback. Cam gave him all he had to give him. Cam had one sensational night at Seattle and should have pulled it off if you, as you said, if he just bounced it outside. That would have been their big win of the year. But they barely lost. Cam had a sensational numbers night, but since then, next to nothing.
I think he played pretty good in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He fumbled.
He had him on the ropes.
Yep.
But he's got 5 touchdown passes to 10 interceptions, and his QBR has plummeted all the way to 29th in the league. It just doesn't look like he's going to be the long-term answer in New England. Jarrett Stidham, the more I watch, the less I like him. So I don't see Jarrett Stidham stepping up and being the next Tom Brady picked out of the 4th round as the diamond in the rough by Bill Belichick. I'm sorry, I don't see it. He's completed 50% of his passes so far this year. So it looks to me like Bill Belichick is getting exposed because he's not able to team build, and he always had the ability to buy all the groceries in New England, but he always had the quarterback. And to me, the quarterback, as James experienced in that brief time he was up there, he just might be the greatest leader in the history of sports. And he kept that locker room together when it wanted to mutiny against Belichick. And I'm going to remind everybody, Belichick had 4 losing seasons in 5 in Cleveland and got fired. And then he came to New England and he went 5-11 the first year and was 0-2 when Brady fell out of heaven into his lap. Obviously, that he had signed off on taking him in the 6th round, but it wasn't Belichick's pick in the 6th round. It was the scouts' choice and pushed for him to be picked in the 6th round. So the point was, Bill Belichick at that point in his head coaching career was 12 games under 500. So I give you, if you want to talk greatest defensive coordinator ever, he's certainly in the conversation. I'll give you the edge. I'll give you Bill Belichick, greatest defensive mind in history. But, man, if you don't have that quarterback and that leader in the locker room to let you get away with how you treated players for 20 years in New England when nobody else could have gotten away with it, that's why I give 75% of the credit to Brady. And I think you're seeing it starting to teeter and crumble without Tom Brady, because I don't see an answer at quarterback. I don't see him snapping his fingers and getting that guy next year to go forward with. So I think he's in big trouble.
I think also with just the way players are, the way they are today, like you have, a bigger social media presence. Guys want to, go out there and do the TikTok, do that. A big thing in their locker room is no social media. You can't do that. Guys want to have fun. It's the era that me and Shannon grew up in, where you come in, you talk.